Michaela Chester here for NCAA Digital. I'm joined by Logan Eggleston today. Logan, so great to have you with me today in person. Thanks for taking the time. I know,
Yes,
finally, right?
It's crazy, yeah.
It's crazy. I want to talk to you about your last game against Nebraska. A huge win for your team. You're headed to the national semifinals after last year where the season was cut short, completely unexpected. Describe the moment at match point when you knew you were headed to the national semis.
It was such an amazing moment just because, I knew Jenna was going to set Skylar, and I knew Skylar was going to put the ball away. I had all the trust in the world in her. So I just, watching her take that swing and then seeing the ball hit the floor, it was just this huge sigh of relief. We finally did it. My whole entire career at Texas, I haven't made it to a Final Four yet. Yeah. And we've hit some roadblocks, throughout my career. And so just finally getting over that hump was just such an amazing feeling, and just so great to just kind of come into the huddle, just give everyone a hug. We did this. Our team fought this entire season and finally made it. So it was such a great feeling, and it's always fun taking Nebraska down for sure.
Yeah, you were such a big factor in that win, especially behind the service line. You had 5 service aces, got Nebraska out of system down the stretch. In the beginning, it actually was, for everybody, it was a little rocky in the beginning, but you stuck with it. How?
Yeah, so our game plan was to serve aggressively. We know Nebraska is a super great team, especially when they're in system. So we knew regardless of if our serves were going in and out, we had to continue being aggressive throughout the whole game. So we definitely, after the first set, kind of came back together and we were like, hey, maybe it's not going our way the first set, but we're going to find a way. We're going to get our serves in and we're going to continue to be aggressive. So that's kind of the conversation that we had. We knew that we had to stick with it throughout the entire game, and it ended up working in our favor. And our service started to go down, and we got them out of system a lot, which is really helpful. Yeah,
definitely worked down the stretch. I asked Skylar about you after the game, so now I'm going to ask you about Skylar. What do you see in her? She's just a sophomore, but her ability to take over a game is really crazy.
She is a phenomenal player, a phenomenal teammate. I love just getting to play beside her every single day. And honestly, I'm not surprised with how she's performing. I get to practice with her every single day, and I see her take swings like that, and I see her get crazy stuff blocks. And so I knew she was going to step up, and I knew she was going to perform like she did. So I'm not even surprised. But I'm honestly just so proud that she's, performing how she is, finally getting the recognition she deserves. She's an amazing player, and I'm so excited to see where her career takes her because she's going to do amazing things at Texas.
Absolutely. You two have been performing phenomenally. How would you evaluate your performance, and how have you been seeing the ball out there?
I think I'm doing pretty good. Yeah,
I think so too.
I'm pretty proud of myself for sure, but I have to give it all the credit to my team. Our passers have done an amazing job of getting Jenna the ball and making it hard for teams to choose who they're releasing on, who they're going to block. And so I've gotten a lot of single blocks and just gotten to really work off of hands and find seams, and so that's been really beneficial to my game right now. Jenna's done a great job of just dishing the ball out. Our middles have done a great job of being up in transition, so I'm getting a lot of single blocks. So I feel like I'm doing great, but I can't do great without my teammates. They're just doing an amazing job of setting it up perfectly for me. So yeah.
Facing Wisconsin in the national semis. This is the #1 team in the country, the team to beat. Yeah. It's going to be a great matchup. Star players on both sides of the net. What's the game plan going into this one?
Our game plan is just to compete. We know that this team matches up super well with us. They're just as physical. They're just as good behind the service line and then with passing and defense. We really think we're super equal teams. And so it's just going to be about who comes to compete, who comes to play, and who wants it more. So that's what we've been talking about, is just getting in there, being gritty, and just getting every single ball up and just competing all the way through.
Well, Logan, thanks so much for joining me today.
Thank you.
I appreciate your time. Super excited for the matchup.
Me too. Thank you for having me.